the winner doesn't have to cut it, correct?
That's right.
Rock, paper, scissors. Hey y'all, welcome back to Cajun Country Living.
Today we're going to get started on the pantry in the kitchen.
But before we get started, we wanted to let y'all know that we're going to be moving our Friday posting to Sundays. So we're still going to be posting on Wednesdays, but now it'll be Wednesday and Sunday versus Wednesday and Fridays. That way y'all don't have to go so long without seeing our faces.
You ready to get started on this?
Yeah. Starting in the camper to moving in the house, something as simple as this pantry right here that's behind Jim Wayne was huge for us.
Now, even though we're a long ways from finishing this house project, this pantry is really important to us because spring's going to be coming on soon. We're going to really dig in and try to get some gardening done this year and some canning and all that kind of good stuff. And we have to have a place to store it. That's where this pantry comes in. So come on, go with us. Let's see if we can figure this out together. If that ain't totally useless, I don't know what is. Look how lazy. Lay it in the breeze. So our pantry's gonna be 5 foot by 5 foot. We originally designed it for 4 feet, but we decided that wasn't enough. So we shifted these walls back and we just lift this frame up because it served the purpose. It marked the area pretty much, and that's all we were after. Now, we need to go in here and build this thing out.
To be able to start working on these cabinets, we are gonna have to get this pantry done because we're gonna start working from the pantry back. So having that frame up there isn't only gonna just tell us where the pantry is gonna be, but it's gonna help to set everything else that's gonna be in the kitchen.
So the first thing that we have to do is we have to add in another stud here, and we got a stud frame the doorway before we can start putting on our wall. And what we're gonna do for a wall here is we're gonna do just like the rest of the house, we're gonna sheetrock. But before we do that, we're gonna put a sheet of 1/2 inch plywood on here. That way, in the future, if we wanna hang something on the wall, if we want to put a shelf there, or whatever we decide to do, we have a solid foundation. We don't have to look for a stud. We can mount it to there at any location that we want.
And whenever it comes time to put the studs in, another thing that we're gonna have to keep in mind, because we don't do things traditional, we're gonna actually build our own pantry doors, and we're gonna round them just like the front door is rounded. I think that that would look really nice to the eye, and I know that that could kind of give a country style look to it, but the way that we have it in our minds, hasn't happened yet, so bear with us, but the way that we have it in our minds is that it is gonna still add to that industrial look.
On a positive note, I know whenever y'all watch this video, that y'all are gonna give us some good feedback on what we need to do on this doorway. Sadly, this video hasn't aired yet, and you're gonna be seeing the end result of what we end up doing here, which I'm pretty confused about. We're just gonna kind of shoot from the hip.
Hey, I told him we can just cover it in alligator wallpaper, call it good.
How long that will last?
It'll hide all the mistakes, won't it? Something like that. We're gonna start off with the sides because I think it might be the easier place to start.
Put these studs in.
You want to put them about halfway?
Yeah, it don't really matter. 27 inches?
So 13 and a half, right here.
13 and a half. So we laid these outside walls out of this pantry to be the measurements that we're gonna need for the width of the countertop for the cabinets that we're gonna be putting in. So one thing goes to another, like always. And some things we were thoughtful about and really thought it through. Some we didn't. This we actually did. So when the countertops are put on, they shouldn't extend past this wall.
What's the C stand for?
Cat center. And right here we realized that we didn't have anything to nail to on this corner. So we had to go outside and rip a couple of 2x4s on an angle so we could nail our plywood on that corner. So we tried it on our test piece before we actually ripped a whole 2x4 just in case it was wrong. We'd sure hate to mess up an expensive 2x4 because we all know how expensive 2x4s are now. Well, let's see. Get it lined up.
That looks really good.
That's going to make that corner a lot more strong and rigid. So, good deal. We actually figured something out.
So we were one stud short whenever it came to framing it for the pantry. So we're gonna have to go get that in the morning, and then we're gonna be able to plywood this side. But in the meantime, we're gonna try to spend some time and figure out how we're gonna do these archways. We wanted to have the same arch as the entry door, so we're gonna spend the next few hours trying to figure out exactly how we're gonna do that, and hopefully we'll have a game plan for tomorrow. So even though we got a little bit of rain today, we were able to get a lot of things done over this dry weekend that we had. Are you driving?
And with all that rain, brought a lot of potholes. So I wasn't going to pass up the opportunity to get this driveway straightened out. It is amazing how hard this driveway has gotten already. I had tried to get out here before it dried out too much so I could level out some of them potholes, but man, it is jarring my teeth out up here. She wants to get up here and drive. It's too rough up here right now, little one.
Watching sunrise meets my skin. Even with my eyes still closed, I can feel it coming in. Golden, golden, I'll follow only golden, 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 golden things. Mountain Laurel high fives for miles in spring.
Last night, one of the things that we realized was that we were gonna have to take that pantry out of the pantry or else it was gonna get stuck in there. We would have had to cut it to take it out.
That was a good catch. So one thing that we are going to do in this pantry is we're going to build arch style doors, just like our main entryway doors. And man, has that been a headache to try to figure out how to lay out. So y'all come look at what we have so y'all can make fun of us together. So if you see all these lines, we're trying to lay this archway out, and I ain't kidding you when I tell you it has eaten our lunch. So this pink string represents the top of where the doors are going to be. This is the very top of the archway. This is where the bottom of the archway would be. Okay? So, yeah, pretty self-explanatory. Rainbow issue going on. But now, what we didn't know is how difficult it would be for us to figure out how to get the exact arch to lay out right. I know that sounds like it would be super easy, and there probably is a really easy way to do this, and we just don't know it. So we're going to show you what we did to get this figured out.
Now y'all make sure to keep in mind that we have 9-foot ceilings. So we came down 16 inches off of that. So just a little bit less than 8 foot is where the top of the arch is gonna be. Another thing that would be super simple with this arch is if we just marked it on the side and made it round exactly whatever distance that would be. But we really, really wanted the arches from the doorway and this pantry to match. I'll show y'all real quick where the doorway is versus a pantry so that way you can kind of see why we want to do that. So right now, this is where the front doors are and our pantry is just to the right of the door. Here is gonna be where the sink is gonna live. It's gonna split right between these windows and there is gonna be cabinets that fill this wall. And now, over to Jimbo. What's gonna be on the forecast today?
A better than average chance of a lot of brain fog. We have figured that the distance between the top of the arch and this distance, which I can't remember what it was off the top of my head, we moved this around so much, compared to the width of the entryway, if we stretch a string from here to here, it'll arch to the same degree as the entryway doors, which were what we were after. And man, there's got to be an easier way to figure this stuff out. And pretty much like everything else we do, we just kind of have to figure it out on the fly because, you know, we say this all the time, we don't know what we're doing. We mean that. To get to the end result, we start here. This is the bottom of the archway. And if you follow this string, touches that string right there, and it comes over and it hits that mark. So this is the sweet spot. Whenever we put our top piece of plywood in and get that set in, we're going to attach this board and we're going to use a pencil with this string and we're going to mark this archway out and then cut it and set everything to it. So before we get started trying to tackle the front of this pantry, we're going to go ahead and finish this wall out like we did the other one. We're going to throw a stud in, get the plywood cut to fit, put it in there, nail it in place.
Jim went this morning to get this 2x4 and still managed to not bring home any donuts.
No fault of my own, donut shop was closed. I take no responsibility.
If I find a donut bag in your truck and that they just didn't make them home, it's unacceptable.
We bought 2 2x4s and 10 sheets of sheetrock. I only needed 1 2x4, but experience has taught me that the way we cut things around here, better get a spare.
Y'all gave us some great suggestions the other day on what we should fill in around this slab. And a lot of people suggested to do mulch and some flowers, which I absolutely love that idea. Only one problem. Brooks apparently really wants me to put some flowers there so that way he can dig those up too. Hey, did you do that? Did you do that? Don't sit there and look cute. Did you do that? Or was it you? Surely not. I think it was you. Guys, you stood right in the way. So just for reference, I know y'all see this only through the video, so Jim and I are both standing in here right now and we've got plenty of space. So I think this is gonna be the perfect size for us without being oversized.
Yeah, we could put like at least 10 cans of green beans in here.
Now that our two sides are done, we're gonna focus on the front of the pantry. We're definitely gonna put a 2x4 across the top, and then we're also gonna add another one right down the center of that. Starting to look like something, ain't it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. A little bit of plywood. Fix anything.
Things are going too well. Whenever Jim made the lumber run this morning, apparently we should have got another piece of plywood also. So we have enough plywood around here, but it's all gonna be scraps and now it's gonna be like a puzzle. So not only was it hard enough with the arch, but now we're gonna add puzzle pieces into it. But hey, at least we've got 80-degree weather today and it is mid-February. You cannot beat that.
Can't complain about that, can you?
Gus, somebody said that you were getting a little chunky in our last video. You getting a little chunky? Put on those winter pounds.
He's not fat, he's poofy. He's got all that poofy fur.
It's almost time to cut that poofy fur. Say yes. Yes. The first piece to our puzzle is going in. What did I say just a minute ago? Everything was going too smooth?
Yeah, you jinxed us. Oh well, we'll get it.
Before we start putting these bottom pieces on, we are gonna go ahead and cut out for the arch. I think it's gonna be a lot easier to go ahead and cut out for the arch if we don't have the side pieces in our way yet. That way, whenever we have the starting points, we won't have to try and cut around any more plywood than we already have to. What in the actual hoodus are you making?
What I'm preparing for you today is a pendulum style arch making mark hoodus. Now, you might choose to make your archways with something other than the pendulum marking hoodus. Let me tell you something. If you have the center point and you got a little bit of gravity, there's no way you can go wrong with the pendulum style archway marking hoodus. Oh, this is an accessory. This is to make sure that your archway marker hoodus your pendulum archway marker Huda stays perfectly square. Okay, so let's dig in a little bit. So we have a jigsaw. Jigsaw is really the only thing that we have here that we can cut an arch like that. And where the blade goes on the jigsaw, it floats, it wobbles back and forth. It's not very tight. So that's the problem. You start cutting on a straight line and it just wants to start hanging right. So you gotta turn the saw to try to get back in line. It's a whole deal.
So both of us try to always push off the jigsaw jobs onto each other. So I thought today, what better way to decide who gets to cut this than no other than rock, paper, scissors. Best 2 out of 3?
I'll take that on. One shot. One shot does it.
Okay.
All right.
Wait, the winner doesn't have to cut it, correct?
That's right. I'll
Okay.
go for that. All right.
Rock, paper, scissors. No, it's on shoot.
It's on 3.
It's on shoot.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Ha! Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, every 6 minutes.
So even though now we have walls on our pantry, we still need to add in the thickness of the sheetrock. So we're gonna go ahead and sheetrock our pantry and then we'll really see what it's looking like.